WozziCast.
Welcome everyone to the second episode of our new podcast called WozziCast. It's pretty exciting to be here, especially for the second episode, considering the first one was pretty good for me. I enjoyed doing it, so yeah, this is going to be a weekly thing where I talk about things and you listen to said things and, well, you decide if you like it or not. Now, I'm a little annoyed, right, because I did actually record this episode, and I was pretty pleased with it. For those who don't know, I actually record the show in OBS just because I like seeing the visual as I'm doing the show. I'm currently recording this off OBS, so it's just the audio, and then I'll edit it together like I usually do. But I recorded it, and then I even did the after show, and then I went to put it in Vegas, which is the software that I use to edit these things, and then I heard that the audio was extremely distorted for some reason. Now, that, plus the fact that I am very tired, really annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very happy about it at all. But, whatever. It happens sometimes. I'm no stranger to having technology fail me, especially, when it comes to recording these, but, whatever. You gotta roll with the punches, I guess. So, hopefully this one is even better than the one I just did. It probably will be, because I'm more prepared. Now, I think the main reason it stuffed up was because of my computer isn't what it once was in the past. It's pretty outdated, like it's not very good. You'll be able to tell, like, in the videos I do, that a lot of the games I play are either older games that aren't affected by my rubbish PC, or the new games that are either filmed on console with my capture card, or they just have really, really low settings. Now, I actually did order some new computer parts, so hopefully they'll be here within the month. So I reckon maybe by episode 4 of WozziCast they'll be there, which will be pretty gnarly, as they say. I got for those who are curious, I got a AMD Ryzen 3600 processor and a GTX 1660 Ti gaming graphics card. Now, they're pretty mid-range. I hear that's pretty, very solid. That's very good stuff to get. I don't actually know how to build PCs or anything like that, so I could have just bought them, and then they can come here, and then I realised that I needed 5 other components to make my computer not explode. But we'll have to see. I'm really curious to see if it'll work out. I'm a little excited because, I put my money into it. So hopefully not only will it be good, but for it'll be good for me because I get to play video games that, are on decent hardware. But I also get to... Sorry, I had to burp then. That's really gross. Apologies. Not only that, but I'll get to record better stuff with high resolution, better settings. I might even be able to, in future, give streaming a go. But, we'll have to see where I land on that. I'm not really the streaming type. I just, my environment is very erratic. And, considering how my videos are filmed, it's, it's a whole thing, so I don't know if maybe I'll do it. Who knows? We'll just have to see when we get there. But, now that I've got these computer parts coming, hopefully you'll be able to see better quality videos in future, because that's sort of what I'm pouring my funds into, is making the content better, making it more enjoyable, and, just overall getting better equipment, so it's all a bit nicer. I don't think I'll ever get a new microphone, at least not for a while, because this one's pretty good, and I run 50 million effects onto it to make it sound better. I was actually watching one of my older videos the other day, and God, man, I did not know how to edit audio. It was rough. It's just, I'm not ashamed of my old content, because that's where I started, and you've always got to, you're not going to be perfect when you start. But man, if I could turn back time and apply the things I know now, then maybe, I don't know, maybe they would have turned out better. It's not important. Sorry for being a bit of a downer about that. But no, it's good to be back. I actually have some exciting news. You'll see it, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you'll see it visually, but my podcast is now officially on iTunes and Spotify. I didn't actually know it was as easy as it was to get on Spotify and iTunes, because I kind of assumed there was a bit more stuff to it. I had to, get a podcast host, so I'm hosted now on Podbean, so that's pretty cool. But no, now I can upload my stuff to iTunes and Spotify, so you can listen to me on the go. If you've got a commute to work, or you're just hanging around the house and you don't want to listen to it on YouTube, then that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm excited to post episode 2 on it. So I better wrap this up as soon as possible. But no, we'll still have plenty of time to chit chat. But yeah, since OBS has completely destroyed my confidence in it, I am now using Audacity to record the audio. So, it's a few extra steps down because I have to sync a bunch of stuff up, but it shouldn't be too difficult. So, it's exciting. It's I still can't believe I managed to get my thing on iTunes. I didn't know it was that easy. So, for those who are wondering, it's like you have to have something that's called an RSS feed, and I never knew what that was, but apparently it's just something that, it's like a URL, and you put it in, and then it gives the iTunes and the Spotify all the information it needs to upload the podcast and stuff. So it's really cool. Like, I'm glad I did it. As much as I'm happy to put this on the channel, it'll be good to be branching out like that. I'm trying to cover more bases. I'm trying my best. So I hope you guys bear with me there, because I'm still, even though I've done this since 2017, I'm still a little bit new to this stuff. I'm not the best at it, and hopefully as time goes on I get better and better, and you guys agree with that. So, it's pretty interesting. Last week, we didn't really have any questions because the show just started, and it's a Patreon thing, so we actually do have a question this week. I'll get to it later, but if you want to, if you want to submit your questions, then go to my Patreon. It's $5 a month. You get early access to all my videos as soon as they're done. I actually uploaded one today. I won't give too much away, but it is Halo Reach, so that's kind of cool. It really makes me antsy, because as much as I love uploading that stuff to the Patreon, giving people early access, I also really want to release it as soon as I finish it. I have trouble sitting on that stuff. I think I sat on Republic Commando Part 2 for about 3 days, and during that entire time I just wanted to put it up. But I knew I had to wait for May the 4th because, that's Star Wars Day. So, it was very difficult for me personally, but, I'll soldier on. Woe is me and all that. So, yeah, no, it's exciting to be doing all this stuff. I'm on top of things, as I said, I'm gonna be more dedicated, so I'm not gonna be posting so sporadically. I'll try and actually work out a schedule. I kind of just make stuff and then post it, in certain days. I know there will at least be a WozziCast once a week, and there will be at least one video once a week. But who knows, maybe there'll be 2 videos that week, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know. However nuts I go. I usually record them in chunks, so I'll do multiple games at a time. So, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to continue, and especially with my new computer parts and upgrading my PC, I'll be able to play more epic games, ones that have non-potato graphics, so we can all have fun. So it's a very I don't want to say exciting again. I kind of want to expand my vocabulary here. It's a really interesting development. That's not really the right word, but whatever. So now we're going to begin our first segment, which is what you're working on, Aussie. So I don't actually have a theme tune for this, but I'm going to make one up right now. So sing along if you know the words. What you working on? What you working on, Aussie? Alright, it's time for what you're working on, Aussie. What I'm working on this week is, well, not only am I working on my own WozziCast, episode 2, which you're listening to right now, but I'm also working on something outside of Aussie Wozzy, which is known as the Aspie Whisperer, which is also AW. So, good synergy there. Basically what that is it's a show hosted by Trudy Carl, my stepmother, who is very experienced in ASD and Asperger's. I don't know if I actually mentioned this in the first episode. I think I did, but I'm going to mention it again anyway. But I've been working on that and helping get the first episode out, which should be out soon. Basically, it's kind of like it's a show. It's like this. It has segments. It's not really a podcast, but it's more of just a show where she does interviews. She does all these cool things. It's it's gonna be really interesting. I've been working on it quite thoroughly, so I hope it all pays off. So, that's what I've been working on this week. Now it's time for our second segment. I don't really have anything to get time in between these segments, which is unfortunate, but whatever. That's just kind of how we roll. So our next segment is Fing of the Week. Now this is my favourite one, so we're going to do the Fing of the Week theme. Fing of the Week, Fing of the Week, Fing of the Week, week. That was terrible. That wasn't a very good one. I'll try. One day I will fork out some money to actually get someone to do theme tunes for me. I'm sure that'll be fun. Who knows? Maybe that can be a Patreon goal. Anyway, so Thing of the Week this week was Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 7. Now, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I've posted many Star Wars videos on the channel. And so you might have gotten an inkling that I'm really interested in the franchise, and I have been a massive fan of the Clone Wars, but I didn't actually get to see it for a while, because I usually watch it with my dad, and we've both been busy, so we haven't been able to watch it together. But we finally bunkered down, and we watched the rest of Season 7. We watched the first arc, as soon as it came out, but we hadn't watched the other 8 episodes. We skipped a few because they didn't seem very interesting. We wanted to get to the nitty-gritty stuff. Obviously, if you guys like the other episodes of the Clone Wars, that's it's good for you. But it's just we wanted to get to the good part, the really good part, which is the Siege of Mandalore. Now, for those who don't know, or haven't seen the Clone Wars, or are planning to watch it and they just don't have the time, I recommend you maybe skip this part because you don't want to get spoiled. But or you could just scream at the top of your lungs until I finish, and then that way my talking will be blocked out by your screaming. So that's good. Anyway, the Siege of Mandalore. Basically, what it is that Darth Maul, the Sith Lord Darth Maul, he is taken over Mandalore, and he's running the government. He's doing it all behind the scenes, and the Mandalorians are not too pleased about it, so this splinter group, this former Death Watch group called the Night Owls, goes and asks Ahsoka, who is pretty much the protagonist of the Clone Wars, especially in this arc. They ask her, "Hey, Darth Maul's been causing trouble. Can you help us out?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess. I mean, I never actually I don't really know who Darth Maul is, but I'll help you out because I'm a former Jedi and stuff, and that's cool." So they go and they find Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're like, Darth Maul's on Mandalore, and he's causing a lot of trouble. And they're like, "Oh no, that's not good. We fought him before. Well, Anakin hasn't, but Obi-Wan has." So they go all the way to Mandalore, and they plan to strike at them and take down Darth Maul. But then suddenly Anakin and Obi-Wan are called away to Coruscant to participate in Revenge of the Sith, the popular movie from 2005. So they're no longer in the show. They have to leave. So Ahsoka is pretty much left in charge, even though she's technically not a Jedi anymore. She's not allowed to technically lead the armies. So they promote Captain Rex, who is the leader of Anakin's little battalion. He gets promoted to commander, and she gets sent on as an advisor, so she can now participate and lead, but doesn't actually affiliate with the Republic. It's kind of it's a bit of a loophole. So anyway, they go down there and they fight all the Mandalorians, and they take it all back from Maul. And Maul's like, "Oh, by the way, I foresaw this vision of everything going to hell really quickly." And he talks about it quite a bit for the arc. Basically, he's referring to Order 66 and like the fall of the Republic and the death of the Jedi and stuff. But because he had a vision, because it's kind of all the lore characters have to know that things are about to go pear-shaped so they can somehow survive and then be in spin-offs and sequels and all that other stuff. So anyway, they capture Maul and they finally capture him and they go back to their big ship and they're like, ooh, good thing we captured Maul. Wow, everything's going so well for us. The war's about to end. Things are just going so well. And then Captain Rex is like, yeah, I agree. Anyway, I've got to take this call from, I've got to go take this call, so I'll be right back. So he goes and he takes the call, and it's Chancellor Palpatine. And Palpatine's like, it's Order 66 time. Go kill your friend that you've been friends with for like 7 seasons. And then, he tries to kill Ahsoka because he's got the little microchip in his brain that brainwashes him to do it. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so she manages to escape and she figures out why the clones have turned on the Jedi. She figures it all out. And she figures out there's a little chip in Rex's brain, every other clone's brain, to kill everyone. Or to kill the Jedi, I should say. And then Ahsoka's like, well, I'm not having that. So she kidnaps Rex. She manages to like get him stunned and kidnaps him, and then takes the chip out of his brain. And he's like, sorry about that. I kind of almost killed you. And then she's like, no, it's all good. We've been friends for 7 seasons. Remember, we're all good. Anyway, we got to get out of here because everyone wants to kill us now. And he's like, yeah, I agree. So they don't actually, and I should say, it's a bit plot important, but they're like, we're not going to kill anyone, like on the ship, even though the clones are trying to kill us, and that's really good, because it's not the Jedi. Even though Ahsoka's not a Jedi, it's not. It would be very against her character to go and kill clones, even if they were trying to kill her. It's not her style. But so they fight their way through the ship. They manage to get to the main hangar. Meanwhile, Darth Maul, who Ahsoka freed to cause a distraction while everyone was hunting her down, is going rampant throughout the ship, and he's breaking it all up, and he's broken the hyperdrive, so the whole thing's coming apart, and he's being really cool, and he doesn't even have a lightsaber, and he's using the Force to kill everyone, and everyone's freaking out. So while he's doing that, Ahsoka and Rex are trying to escape, but they don't. They manage to get to the main hangar just as everything's going to hell, like the ship's about to crash into a planet. And so they're there, and then literally every clone goes to the main hangar and like stands in front of, like, tries to stop them. So they all get in one big formation and gets ready for them. And it's just like, oh, I guess we're screwed then. So they decide to come up with a plan where Rex pretends to capture Ahsoka and like claim that they're gonna keep him prisoner because she's not technically a Jedi, so she doesn't need to be executed on sight. And he tries to reason with the clones and say, well, she's not a Jedi anymore, so we don't have to kill her. And they're like, oh yeah, but you kind of did tell us to go kill her because you were shooting at her earlier. And he was like, oh yeah, I did do that, didn't I? So anyway, with the help of some droids, they managed to get all the clones like sort of distracted and like make them fall into like a little pit in the hangar. And then they try to escape to the shuttle, but Darth Maul steals it. And the clones start getting their bearings again and start shooting at them and stuff. It's pretty hectic, and the ship's collapsed. It's falling apart, and they manage to get away from them briefly to another part of the hangar where they find a little Ywing bomber. And then they're like, oh yeah, I guess we'll just use that to get out of here then. But the clones are chasing them. It's crazy. Everything's exploding. They just managed to get in the Y-Wing, but Ahsoka's not on it yet, and she falls, and like the Y-Wing falls, and sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked. Anyway, Rex is in the Y-Wing, and he manages to fly it. He gets control of it, and he's like looking for Ahsoka in the wreckage, like as it's falling to the ground, and he spots her like floating around in the air, and then he manages to like catch her in the air. It's really crazy. Like, it's the most complicated way to say, hey, these characters survived by like having Rex catch Ahsoka midair in a ship so they can fly away. Like, it's very insane. Anyway, a little bit of time passes, and the ship has crashed to the ground, and like all the clones are dead. So Ahsoka and Rex, they go and they go and bury them all and give them a proper funeral, like a soldier's memorial. And it's really sweet because it's like, at the end of the day, even though the clone did try to kill Ahsoka and Rex, they didn't do it of like their own volition. It was, it was a microchip in their head that controlled their brains. So, it was really bittersweet in the end. So, and then there's a fast forward to like many years in the future where the Empire's around and they've found this old wreckage of the ship, and, Darth Vader's there because I guess he just is. I don't exactly know why he would be wasting his time, but who knows, maybe he just sensed in the Force that he had to be there. So Darth Vader's there, and he does a little bit of perusing, and he notices on the ground there is a lightsaber, and that lightsaber belonged to Ahsoka, and she left it there because she didn't want it anymore. Because if you had a lightsaber in that time period, that was kind of like painting a target on your back. So he picks it up, he examines it, he turns it on, and he's like, "Oh wait, this is the exact same lightsaber that I gave Ahsoka," and it's that's kind of sad. Anyway, I gotta go. So Darth Vader walks off, and the last shot of the entire series is of a reflection of Darth Vader in a clone trooper's helmet, like a broken up clone trooper helmet, walking away from the scene. And then it ends. And I have to say, that was pretty flippin' amazing. Like, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Like, it was the proper send-off for the Clone Wars. I'm glad they touched on Order 66. They did stuff with Revenge of the Sith. It felt really... Like, it felt really good because not only did it not really break any canon or anything, like, it didn't mess with the original continuity of Revenge of the Sith, even though, it's a bit of that movie's a bit of a mixed bag, but I do like it still. So, I'm glad they respected it and stuff. They didn't try to retcon anything, which was good. But no, like, it was insane. It was just crazy. Like, I didn't mention it, but there actually is an entire fight scene with Ahsoka and Maul that's just pure mocap, and that's insane. But yeah, that was my thing of the week, was Clone Wars Season 7. I loved it. I reckon you should check it out if you're a Star Wars fan. If you're not, then go on with your life, because you won't care, but still, it's cool. Alright, that was Thing of the Week. So now it's time for our final segment, a question from our Patreons. Now, I only have one question, but it's still good that I got a question, and it actually ties in to my Thing of the Week. And the question is from Ryan Baker, and he asks, what is your favourite Star Wars character? And I'm not going to drain too long on this. I do have a few. Like, Obi-Wan is a really good character. I really like him. I really like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, especially. And in the Clone Wars, I like Darth Vader, just because, Darth Vader is awesome. And I love, even that includes Anakin Skywalker, even though he's a bit of a whiny baby in some of the prequels. Like, it's a very good story. And, because the Star Wars is about Anakin Skywalker, and Darth Vader. And, like, the Skywalker lineage. So, he's really cool. But I would have to say my favourite would probably Darth Vader, just because it's just such a good story. Like, he's got such a strong and complex character that gets expanded upon in the comics and in books and in games, and even outside the movies, he's just still this epic force of just evil and complexity. I don't know, he's just really cool, and plus he just looks cool. Okay, did you see that scene in Rogue One where he's slicing up rebels? That was awesome. But yeah, no, that's thank you for asking me that question, Ryan Baker. If anyone else has a question for me, please check out my Patreon, where you can submit a question on my Q&A thread that I do every week for each episode of the podcast. As I said, it's only $5 a month. You get access to a bunch of stuff. It'll be worth your while. So without further ado, that's pretty much all we've got for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a Patreon user, then you get to access my after show, which is pretty much just an extended thing where I talk some more. If you like my voice, then you'll like that. Be sure to check out my new Discord channel that I've opened up, so if you want to chat to me, then, you can with that. And, if you want to hear some updates outside of my Patreon and my YouTube, then check out my Twitter. If you want to, if you want to listen to this on different stuff, iTunes and Spotify. I'm doing a lot of plugs today. I can't believe I've got so much stuff to plug. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see ya next time.